In accordance with
lag.
the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this regular meeting of the Board of Adjustment of the Township of Franklin has been provided. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Betterbid.
Here.
Ms. Graman.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. McCracken.
Yes.
Mr. Rich.
Here.
Mr. Shepherd. Mr. Caldwell. Mr. Rosenthal had asked to be excused. Mr. Reese.
Yep.
Mr. McGallo.
Here.
Chairman Thomas.
Here. Okay, right to the hearings. 1340 Hamilton Street, ZBA 15-00010, site plan in which the applicant is proposing a gas station and retail stores. This matter has previously received use variance approval for said uses at 1340 Hamilton Street, Block 90, lots 1 and 2 in the M2 zone, carried to December 17th, no further notice.
Bless you.
I guess that's relevant to all of the people in the audience. And 150 Pierce Street, ZBA 15-00011, use variance with the site plan in which the applicant's proposing to convert a portion of a building into a charter school at 150 Pierce Street, Somerset, Block 468.08, Lot 2.02 in the M2 zone, carried to November 12th, no further notice. And the hearing, which we will actually have, AL Holdings, Inc., ZBA 15-00012, use variance with waiver of site plan in which the applicant's asking permission to set up a vocational school in Building 80, Cottontail Lane, Somerset, Block 530.04, Lot 2.03 in the CB zone. And we're ready, waiting, and anxious for your brief presentation.
Qualified that.
Good
You heard
evening.
that.
Good evening, ladies and
If
gentlemen.
you go before, after quarter of, you get denied because we all want to go see the Mets.
Whoa. Okay. All right, good evening, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Catherine Cobb from the law office of Peter Lamfret, located at 3000 Hadley Road, Suite 1C, South Plainfield, New Jersey, appearing on behalf of the applicant. I will speak as quickly as possible and try to get you guys out of here. But really quickly, in summary, the applicant's proposing to use a portion of an existing office building to operate a vocational school. Schools are an inherently beneficial use. Testimony will show that the proposed site is particularly suited for the proposed use, and there are no cognizable detriments to the use or for the use at the proposed site. And with that, I will call my first witness.
Sir, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
State and spell your name for the record.
Christopher Coutts, Coutts.
Thanks.
Okay, and what is your position with American Institute?
I'm the President and Chief Operating Officer.
Okay, and can you tell the board a little bit about American Institute, what you do, and the school's history?
Sure. American Institute, the flagship school was started in Connecticut in 1924 by the Fox family. It was a third-generation school that I invested in 1996, so I've been with the company since 1996. We then expanded into Clifton, New Jersey in 2006. We then expanded to Toms River, New Jersey in 2013. We also have a school in Margate, Florida. And we teach dental assistant, medical assistant, computer networking and security, diagnostic medical sonography. We also teach medical coding and billing in Connecticut, but we won't be offering
Say
that
again?
in Jersey.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
I didn't hear that last.
We also teach medical coding and billing, primarily in Connecticut, though.
Okay, and American Institute has strong ties with the communities that they've established schools in, correct?
Yes. In fact, tonight we have a business advisory dinner happening in Toms River right now with probably about 25 to 30 employers that hire our graduates. Every October in Clifton, New Jersey, we have about 55 employers that will come every year, participate and look at our curriculum and our program, and we make modifications accordingly.
Okay, and you do quite a bit of community service in the communities that you're located
We
within?
do a ton of community service. So our view as a company, and it might sound a little corny, but this is kind of my mission. I always say treat the student like it's the most important person in your life, and in my life would be my 3 daughters. So when we look at our students, we say what is best for the person who's most important to you. So sometimes that means, being hard on them. But also raising children, you want to make sure that they do give back to the community. So our schools are very involved in the community. We do very active blood drives. We do bone marrow drives. In fact, in Connecticut, we did one in probably 2000. We had a young man that had cancer, and well, we were not able to find him a bone marrow match. Our students actually all rallied. We became the biggest small school of bone marrow donations for minority people. Unfortunately, he lost his battle, but we've been doing that ever since. We donate money for the homeless. We raise money for breast cancer, domestic violence. I ask you to see our website, and you'll see quite a bit of activity.
Okay, and the American Institute is an accredited school, correct?
Yes,
Okay, so students can obtain federally funded financial aid to pay for their tuition?
that's correct.
Okay. And if the application is approved, when will classes be taught?
We are hoping that we can actually offer our first class probably around May.
Okay, and what days and times would classes be held?
We will run from Monday through Friday. We are open on Saturdays for tutoring. Our sessions are kind of a split session. It's kind of a unique concept. Half the students will go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then also online. The other half of the students will go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it allows us to not have a big footprint and service more students. We also offer evening classes from 6 to 10, Monday through Thursday.
Okay, and I'm sorry, what were the daytime hours for the classes?
Daytime hours are actually 8:30 to 2:30. Then there is a break, and then the evening sessions start around 6,
Okay.
6 to 10.
Okay, and hours differ slightly on Friday, correct?
Correct. Hours, the actual classroom hours are from 8 to 2:30, but we're open till 4.
Okay. And what is the typical background of students that attend your existing schools?
It varies. All of them must have a high school diploma, and most of our programs just require a high school diploma. In our diagnostic medical sonography program, we require 4-year degrees for admissions.
Okay, and how many students do you anticipate will enroll at the school at this site?
Probably at its peak around 250 to 260 students,
Okay, and how many of those 250 students would be on site at any one time?
about 60.
Okay. And will the students drive themselves to the school or
Yes.
commute together?
Yes.
Okay. And how many teachers will you employ?
Somewhere between 6 and 10, depending upon lab assistants.
Okay, and will these teachers be new hires?
Yes.
Okay. And how many teachers will work on site at any one time?
Could be 6 to 10, depending upon, the classrooms, but probably 7, say 7.
Okay, and you'll have administrative staff as well?
Yes.
Okay, about how many?
Same, about 7 to 10 administrative people.
Okay, and there'll be new hires as well?
New hires as well.
Okay, and what will the administrative staff hours be?
They will be mirroring the opening of the school, so there'll always be administrative people at the school, and it'll be a split schedule. So, for example, the campus president there will be required to work 2 nights a week. The director of education will be required to work 2 nights a week. We believe that the students at night should be serviced the same way as students during the day. So we put a lot of emphasis on making sure there's administration at all times.
Okay, and based on your prior visits to the site and some conversations held with the landlord, as far as you're aware, the building is just over 88,000 square feet, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and is it your understanding that only 67,000, of that approximately 88,000 square feet, only 67,500 square feet of the building is rentable?
Correct.
Okay. And the non-rentable space consists of atriums, hallways, bathrooms, common area, the cafeteria, common areas, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And of the rentable space, approximately 71% is occupied?
That's correct.
Okay, and you are proposing to rent 6,358 square feet, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, and there is a cafeteria, yes?
Yes.
That's available for teachers and students?
Yes.
Okay. In your opinion, based on, again, on your prior visits to the site, is there adequate parking on site for your staff and students?
Yes.
Okay, and has the landlord previously advised that there has been no history of parking shortage?
Correct.
Okay, and in the unlikely event that there is a parking shortage, you've worked out an agreement with the hotel next door to use their parking lot for your students as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And as far as you're aware, the parking lot is going to be restriped by the landlord?
Correct.
Okay. And why did you choose this building to operate the school from?
Well, one, the proximity to 287 is very helpful to us. It's also kind of, we want to be kind of a regional format. We don't want to be a big campus and a big school chain. So having a location in Clifton and having a location in Toms River, Somerset is kind of perfect in the middle. So we can do some sharing between, roles. It also has a very good population for employment. There's a lot of employment opportunities in the Somerset area, and of course, the population is quite large.
Okay. And the school does help students obtain internships and job placement, correct?
That's correct.
All right. So the fact that Rutgers University has a number of doctors' offices here and a number of independent physicians and labs are here, it works well for the school. Okay. Other than restriping the parking lot, are you proposing any changes to the exterior of the building?
No.
Okay. And what changes are you proposing to the interior of the building?
Classrooms and offices in the 6,300 square feet.
Okay. I have no further questions for this witness.
Question.
Sure.
As I understood your testimony, there was a wide variety of vocational training that you were providing. Are there particular areas that are going to be provided in this school, or is it going to be that, is it going to run the gamut of all of the areas that you described?
It will be, some of the programs will be rather small. For example, diagnostic medical sonography, probably at its peak, maybe have 25, 30 students in it. So medical assistant, dental assistant, diagnostic medical sonography, and computer networking and security will be offered at that school.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, the two items you mentioned about the square footage and the total students, those are going to be limits that, assuming this is approved, you're not going to be able to go over. So if you want 6,300 square feet and you want to move it sometime, make it 7, you're going to have to come back here. And if so,
That's fine.
and the amount of students, make sure you have the correct amount of students, because if you want to move up from 250, whatever that number is, to 300, you're going to have to come back here because they're going to have to review this whole thing again. So make sure those numbers are accurate for what you want.
Okay, so that's a very good point. So we're going to ask for 300 students.
And-
Our Toms River location that opened in March of 2013 right now has about 260 students in school. Out of those 260 students, about 35 are on externship or clinic sites. So the actual number is 230. You bring up a very good point. The population breakdown is very tied very much to the economy. So if the economy slides in our state, we will slightly see an increase in day population. When the economy balances out, we generally see sometimes an increase in the night population. Right now in Toms River, I think its highest shift, I think, is around 65 students right now at the 260 students. Because again, we do a split shift. So I think it's a very good point. I can only use Toms River as an example of what would happen. It's very possible that it could be 68 or 69 students on a shift. But history has shown that right now it's about 63, 65 students.
This is the building just before the hotel?
It's right next to the hotel.
Yeah, just.
Yes.
When you're on Canal Road.
Talk into the microphone.
Okay, when you're on Canal Road, it's the building just before it.
I believe so. I'm not 100% familiar with the.
Is there only one building there? Because I know there's a lot of cars that leave the rush hour.
I know that there's a hotel and there's that building. I'm not really sure if there's another building next door.
But are there other tenants in that building now?
There are other tenants in that building, yes.
Oh, okay.
There's Rutgers is in there, and some computer companies and firms that are in there.
It's about 3/4 occupied.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because I can tell you, the evening rush hour,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say from four on, there's a lineup of cars coming coming from Cottontail,
Okay.
and cars trying to get out of that building parking lot into that line.
Right.
Not always easy to do.
I would say probably for us, that's not an issue because the classes will be done at 2:30. So the majority of the population during the day will probably be gone before that. So I don't see an issue with that. And our evening population will generally get there about 6 o'clock from their work.
Okay, I don't see a traffic report in the paper. Was that required?
No, okay, it was not, the couple of our staff want to have some type of summary traffic report that they would like to review, and the board could make it a condition. They just want to confirm everything that they're saying, that we felt comfortable with making that a condition for staff to review, because actually, the amount of use there is slightly different in the timing, but the square footage, the amount of people that would be there with the permitted use is about the same. It's just they're actually on off-peak hours, so if anything, there'd be less of an impact on the traffic because of the impact. But staff wanted to see some type of report, a couple pages, just summarizing that make sure that staff agreed with it.
Any other questions? Next one.
Okay. And I will call my next witness.
Okay. Solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Microphone.
I do.
And your name for the record.
Kevin O'Brien.
Okay, and Mr. O'Brien, can you please give the board the benefit of,
He's still licensed, right?
I am still.
since last month?
Mr. Donovan.
I'm sure the
Yeah.
chairman's going to accept him. He's only been here like 100 times.
Accept it.
Thank you very much.
Regardless of that phone call you made, I'm still licensed.
Okay, can you tell us why we are here tonight?
Well, I'm here because I did not go to Los Angeles to watch the Mets game. But I will take the chairman's request very seriously, and if he still requests it, I think we can make a brief presentation and go right to the proofs.
As long as you can do that, and you didn't lose your license, we're okay.
I can do all the above, Mr. Chairman. For a use variance to be granted in this particular application, an applicant has to show you typically three things: that there are special reasons rooted in the basis of zoning that would allow you to grant the application, that it meet the positive criteria, that it have no effect on the master plan and the zoning ordinance, and that it not affect the negative criteria, and that it have no impact upon the neighborhood or the community. In this particular case, you've heard testimony from the applicant talking about the school itself, the services that the school is going to provide, the people that the school is going to attract to this area. This is an adaptive reuse of an office building. As we know, office vacancy rates in northern New Jersey are approaching 30%. This one actually is not doing too bad in its current state, but this is going to put a long-lasting tenant in this building at a very appropriate location near Route 287, near the road network, and is going to have a positive economic impact by adding jobs to this location and to the neighborhood, as well as having a positive impact upon services, shops, food services in the area by bringing in 250-odd people in the course of a week. So, special reasons. Are they met in this particular application? And they are, because the application for a school has been deemed inherently beneficial by the state of New Jersey. That means that the municipal land use law and the courts have said that schools are a thing that are inherently beneficial. They promote the general welfare of all the citizens of the state, because we all have a stake in educating not only our children but our adults in life vocational studies, as well as their regular school studies from K through 12. So the first prong is met by being an inherently beneficial inherently beneficial use. In the second case, the positive criteria, this meets the municipal land use law passages concerning the basis of zoning. For instance, item A, to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development to promote the general welfare. and second, to provide sufficient space in appropriate locations for a variety of uses. It certainly is affected by what the master plan says, which calls for providing adequate community services here in this town. And this is a community service that does help many, many people, and this helps adults get jobs, which is in everybody's interest. Lastly, in terms of the negative criteria, because it's an inherently beneficial use, it has to meet the SECA balancing test, which you've heard me and other planners talk about in the past, and that is where we go through a four-step journey in which we find out whether or not there is a negative or a positive impact upon the community and the site. And when you get through that, you find out that there is no negative impact to the site. This is a positive impact for it. There's no negative impact to the community because the master plan calls for these types of facilities. It's supported by the municipal land use law, and as an inherently beneficial use, I believe that it meets the criteria that would allow you to vote in the affirmative for it, and that I do not believe that there will be any detriment to the public good, and there will be no substantial impairment to the zone plan and the zoning ordinance. I reserve the right to go further if I must, but that is my short version, Mr. Chairman, and if that meets your needs, I'll answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Anybody with questions?
Vince, is there any signage? No signage?
No, I don't think there's any. I don't remember there being any signage in the application.
I believe just on the directory, there's the existing directory.
Okay.
I just had a question about, I take it's a private and it's profit-making school. And how does that work with our taxes and everything? You don't pay taxes, right?
We pay taxes.
Sure.
Oh, you do pay taxes?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So, that's a positive economic impact? Yeah, okay.
Any other questions? Anything you want to, your final witness?
This was my final witness, yes.
Anything else you want to add?
Just in summary, the application as proposed is inherently beneficial, and, you know, as the testimony has provided, there is no negative impact identifiable through this application. The project really only has positive impacts on both the site and the community. The project is supports both the goals of the master plan and the municipal land use law, and in light of all of that, we request that the board approve the application as submitted.
You're okay with all the staff report? I mean, there's not much in the staff report, so,
There was one paragraph that we may need in Mr. Vega's report that we may need the landlord to discuss with Mr. Vega
and that's fine. You can work.
after, you know,
You can work it
after
out-
the
you can
fact.
work it out with Julio.
Yeah.
And any resolution should include your suggestion about the traffic review?
Yeah, that's in the staff report that we wanted something, you know, something brief for them to review real quick.
There was one point, Chairman, the county did a report. They found that there would be a total of 7 additional trips generated by this use compared to what would be generated by this building if it was at capacity.
Yeah.
And the county found that that was such a minuscule de minimis impact that the county did not ask for anything.
Okay.
But that was their finding, was 7 trips, Mr. Dominic, is that correct?
I believe it was something like that, yeah.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, we can't open to the public since
There is
no public unless the media wants to make a comment or not, okay? Otherwise, we'll take any discussion or resolution or motion on a resolution.
I'll move approval of this application, subject to the professional reports, with a limitation, you say, of 300 students.
And whatever the square footage, 6,300? Yeah,
Yeah,
Whatever the current
6358.
yeah.
square footage is.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion? Okay.
Mr. Betterbid,
Yes.
Ms. Graman,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. McCracken?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Reese?
Yes.
Chairman?
Yes. Okay, good luck with it.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, and for those baseball fans,
Just
enjoy the game.
Before you adjourn, we will not be meeting on the 5th. That meeting's been canceled, but we're going to have a special meeting on the 12th. So it'll be the following Thursday.